Hello there. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel says that her country is now making preparations for the UK to leave the EU without a deal. Germany is now making suitable preparations for a no-deal Brexit, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel has revealed. In what the Germans are calling her Big Brexit Speech, Merkel said, "It is only fitting as a responsible and forward-thinking government leadership that we prepare for every scenario. That includes the possibility of Great Britain leaving the European Union without an agreement." Now, if the translation is correct, her use of the geographical term Great Britain instead of the United Kingdom is interesting, because of course Great Britain does not include Northern Ireland. Is that a looseness of terminology or something more sinister? Anyway, one of the big issues, she said, was how to deal with the approximately 100,000 UK citizens living and working in Germany. Now, back in August, the UK Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab said that it was inconceivable that the rights of 3.8 million EU nationals living in the UK would not be secured even in the event of a no-deal Brexit. And in September, the PM Theresa May said of EU citizens living in the UK, "Even in the event of no deal, your rights will be protected." And what do we get in return from the welcoming EU? Well, Merkel has been welcoming to a lot of other people recently, hasn't she? So why not reciprocate with us? The use of people as pawns like this by the Germans may not go down too well here in the UK, whichever side of the argument you are on. Especially when you also find out that the Chancellor says we're still going to end up paying £36 billion to the EU, even in the event of a no-deal WTO Brexit. Moving on, the EU chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier says he is open to extending the Brexit transition phase by a year. This is being touted as a gesture of goodwill and flexibility by the EU to give the UK more time if needed. But it seems that, in return, the EU wants some form of two-tier Irish border backstop. So I suppose this could be sold to the British people as, here is the backstop, but just in case, we've got another guarantee under that. Good old-fashioned doublespeak. So we have a backstop to a backstop then, which of course is total rubbish, as a backstop is a thing placed at the rear of something else and used as a barrier or support. The backstop is therefore the last support. Anything else is just a pre-backstop agreement. Now to the Brexit doom and gloom, where we look at the state of the economy after the referendum vote and contemplate things like the promised soaring prices and house price crashes. I'm sorry, but I have to report that, despite the best efforts of the Remainers to frustrate Brexit, the annual rate of inflation has fallen. We have been continually bombarded with scaremongering about inflation going through the roof, but today the Office for National Statistics reports that the Consumer Prices Index fell from 2.7% in August to 2.4% in September. And when taking owner-occupier housing costs into account, it fell from 2.4% in August to 2.2% in September. The main downward drivers were food, non-alcoholic beverages, transport, recreation and culture and clothing, with upward pressure applied by increases in electricity and gas prices. So when you consider that the government's official inflation target is 2% and that the Bank of England formulates its policy around that 2% target, you can see things ain't all that bad, are they? Now, when inflation falls, it means that there is less pressure on the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee to raise interest rates. This makes the pound a little less attractive to investors who back away a bit, and the value of sterling goes down a little, which it did earlier today, but nothing to overly concern ourselves with. And the ONS also reports that house prices are still increasing at above inflation levels, with prices increasing by 3.2% in the year to August, to an average of £233,000, which is £7,000 up on the year and £1,000 up on the month. Also, due to the state pension triple lock, where it goes up by the highest of 2.5%, inflation or average wages, state pensioners will see a rise of 2.6% next year based on the July average wage growth figure. Now on to that most important of subjects, the defence of the realm. The former head of MI6, Sir Richard Dearlove, who ran the agency until 2004, has written a letter to The Times where he claims that Theresa May's chief Brexit negotiator Ollie Robbins has been hoodwinking the public and that Robbins had serious questions of improper conduct to answer, relating to negotiating with the EU in a way that would compromise the UK's future intelligence gathering capabilities. Sir Richard says that Robbins is covertly working to chain the UK into EU-controlled defence and security projects after Brexit that could compromise fatally the UK's other bilateral intelligence agreements. And one would think that Sir Richard would know about these things, wouldn't you? Especially when you look at the Chequers-based Brexit proposals, where defence and security feature heavily on many pages. Reading through pages 9, 10, 63, 64, 65, 67, 68, 76, 80, 81 and 87, you get the feeling that far from taking back control, we're on the verge of handing the whole security plot over. In fact, if we were not in the EU already, this document looks like it could have been written as a planning document to get us in, not out. It also raises the question again of exactly what the EU is for. Is it a pure trading bloc? Or is it a forming superstate with aims of control over defence and foreign policy for the entire EU? Well, I know what I think, and it's about time the Remainers stopped lying, came fully clean, stuck their hands in the air and said yes, they do believe that the UK should become a subservient part of the grand EU superstate. But they never will, as they know the average person in the UK would recoil at such a suggestion. So the Remainers just go on talking about roaming charges and the like, hoping that no one will ask the difficult questions. At the end of the day, Brexit is about the UK once again becoming a fully self-governing nation, and all these tricks about crashing GDP, rampant inflation and the flight of manufacturing, etc. were used to try and lever the UK into the euro and to get us to vote to remain, and look at the real truth of what has happened. And what really gets to most Brexiteers is that so many of our current and past establishment are also still at it, trying to sell the UK out. As Nigel Farage tweeted earlier about recent actions by three of them. Blair, Clegg and Heseltine write in German media to urge EU leaders to extend Article 50. This is real collusion, no inquiry needed. OK, I know that collusion may not be quite the right word here, but we all know what urging for the extension of Article 50 really means, don't we? So, please let us all know what you think by leaving a comment below. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.